Arslan Ash, me, JDCR, Nobi. I'm sure when you hear those names, you think of some of the greatest Tekken players on the planet. And some of you sitting there at home maybe think to yourselves, what is it like to actually play Tekken against these guys? Because again, they are some of the best. They have been putting up results for longer than some of us have been alive. And it must be such an interesting feeling. You know, I think some people, they want to play against these guys to get sort of stars in their eyes. Like, these guys are amazing. They're the best. They've been doing these things for so long. And you think to yourself, what is it like to actually play against these guys? Well, that's what today's video is here to try and shed a bit of light on, because a lot of these top players I myself have played against. You know, if you don't know me by now, I'm Kwis, professional Tekken competitor, commentator, and content creator, and I've been playing this game for a long time, been traveling for quite some time now, and I played against a lot of these guys, a lot of people you consider to be the best, and I want to sort of share my experience. I guess it's something I haven't seen, you know, other content creators do for like any other game really. I don't know if this thing other Tekken players do. Maybe they just mention it offhand. I want to do like a dedicated video on some of the best players I've ever played against when it comes to Tekken and Tekken 7 and Tekken 8, and sort of share that with you guys and you guys a bit of insight of what it's like to go against the best. And if you guys like this kind of format for a video, you know, you can let me know down in the comment section if there's any players that I have played against that you want me to share maybe in a future video that's not mentioned in this one. You know, let me know, and let's get into it. So it goes without saying that this guy is potentially one of the best players in the world. Top 2 is what most people would say. You know, your worst case scenario. I mean, 5-time Evo champion, Tekken World Tour champion. In 1 year, he did the treble: Evo Japan, Evo Vegas, and Tekken World Tour finals. No one else has done that. So you'd have to expect he's one of the best, and he is. You know, I only have one tournament experience against him, and I think it's important to get this one out of the way. I think this is one people were expecting me to talk about the most. And yeah, we played once at Gamers 8 in 2023, which is now Esports World Cup, and I did win that set. And if I'm being completely honest with myself, I think a lot of my sort of success in that set did come from his unfamiliarity with the Hwoarang matchup. But he is someone who you don't really want to play for a long time, because we played a lot of casual sets as well. I think a lot of the people I mentioned this list, some have played in tournament more, some have played a bit of casual. Arslan played in casuals quite a few times. The longer you play against him, it really starts to feel like your options just become a lot slimmer. You know, the longer you play, the more your options just shrink and shrink and shrink. Which is why I say you don't want to play him for a long time, because by the time you're getting to that 10th, 20th match, you know, you kind of put into a box, because he's very good at adapting, and he's someone who you don't really want to play casuals with before. If you're expecting to play him in tournament, you do not want to play him in casuals before then. He does his homework. You can tell it when you play against him. He's someone who, he's been in my path in many tournaments. We haven't played in the one, but he's been in path many times in tournament, and we do speak a lot, and he's always saying to me before, he's like, oh, I was watching your matches before this, you know, I was getting ready, I'll see that you do this after this after this. Like, he's someone who prepares a lot. And for example, like when we're projected to play, it was like pretty early in a tournament, like, you know, before top 16, before top 32, we're normally projected to play, and he's already doing his homework from that early on. You know, in a tournament, you're preparing this far ahead, and you can really see it in his games. He's someone who, when you watch him play, in a lot of his tournament games, they are very close, they're very scrambly, but he normally gets the win in the end. And again, I think you boil that down to the longer the set goes on, the better he seems to get. And I think, you know, that's why I think when it comes to the longer sets, you know, first to threes, especially if you look at his Evo finals against Artif, you know, first to 3, won that, and then another first to 3 again. It's just the longer sets, he just seems to get better as it goes on, and I can really attest to that. When we played in casuals, you know, it's really like the start of the set, I'm doing amazing, I'm doing great, I feel fantastic, I can win, I feel great, I can do this. But just the longer that set goes on, it really starts to feel like, you know, you feel the jaws really closing in on you. There's definitely a reason they call JDCR a robot. I think he's I think he's the definition of just an absolutely solid player. He's very technically sound. His movement is really good, and he doesn't really let you get away with any small mistakes you might be wanting to make. I think from our 3 tournament sets we played, one in Tekken 7, one in Tekken 8 at sea, and then we played another one at the QR pre-Evo tournament. From all those sets, it's just it gets really fatiguing playing against JDCR, because you kind of have to feel to yourself, okay, I cannot make too many mistakes here, because you really start to pay for those very early on. And again, another player who's very good at catching on to timing, and the longer the set goes on, the more you can't do the same things. I remember when we played at CEO, there was a situation where he did a crouch dash mix into QCF4, and I did power crush to beat that, right? And then that exact same situation, the next time we're in it, he did a throw instead, expecting my power crush, then, you know, giving me a guaranteed throw that I couldn't break. It's just the small things like that you really notice playing against someone like JDCR. So my main thing going into a set with him is I know he hates Hwoarang. I know he's not a big fan of Hwoarang. We both sort of had the meme of Hwoarang being a bad character. Like, he made the videos, I piggybacked off them like, hey, Hwoarang is the worst character game, look at these videos. But I know for a fact he really doesn't like the character Hwoarang. So for me, it's like going into that set, I have to be as annoying as I possibly can be. I have to do the annoying Hwoarang things. I have to do multiple down 3-4s and use all of my throws, because I think it's important to sort of use anything at your advantage to win a set, especially against one of the greats. And he's definitely someone looking forward to potentially playing again in the future. Again, he has the record over me with I only had the one win at the QOR tournament. But again, I don't know how much I really count that, because it was a pre-Evo tournament. It was one that was like, you know, Evo's the next day. People aren't really trying their best. The tournament's not that important. It still was a dojo, so Tekken World Tour points were available. But I more look at a tournament like that as proof of concept. You know, if something is proven that I can do it, I did it at this tournament. So hopefully, if we do meet again down the line, I should be able to get it done again. But if not, it doesn't really sting too much. Again, he's one of the greats for a reason. And I do hope to see him competing again next year, or this year. Knee is an interesting one because he might be the only person on this list that I've never played in tournament, but I have quite a bit of casual experience against, and I think he's someone you want to hear what it's like to play against him. So for full disclosure, we played 2 separate sets. It was while we were in Pakistan last year for the Bars Gauntlet, and we had two different sets on 2 different days. The first time we played, it was Hwoarang versus Feng, and that was a very close set. It was a lot of back and forth. No one won more than like 3 games in a row. I think I want to say 2, but I'm pretty sure it was 3. He would win 2 wins, I'd win 1 game, he'd win 1, then I'd win 3, then he'd win 2. It was a lot of back and forth, right? And for him, it was like, when I play the Korean players, one thing for me I'm always thinking about is they have a very good understanding of the Hwoarang matchup. That's something I've noticed from playing a lot of them. You know, they have some great Hwoarangs in Korea. And for me, it's like, okay, they probably know a lot of things. They like to react in certain ways. So for me, that's one thing I like to do when I'm playing against someone like me is, okay, how does he react to this? How does he react to this? And generally, it's interesting to say, but like for the most part, he reacts perfectly to what he should do in most situations. And it's very like, I don't know, when you play Knee as well, like he's the go-to of Tekken, he's the guy everyone looks up to. There's that bit of like, oh, I'm playing Knee going on here, right? But you kind of like shut that out. I feel like, you know, if you just put like a big blind on the side of you when you're playing against him, you don't know who you're playing against, you might actually do a lot better against him. But at the end of the day, you're playing the guy. And yeah, it was a very, very, very close, you know, back and forth between us, which again, I very much enjoyed the set. Obviously, Knee known for being one of the best, and like, you know, his Feng was very strong. Next day, I played against his Brian, and I don't know how long the set was. Obviously, we just played really. There was no really time constraint or anything that we both won in the tournament anymore. Still, we're just playing. I didn't get a game. I remember this against his Brian. I didn't get a game, and like there were times obviously you're close. I'm almost about to get a game, and then like it's like just slams the door in front of you. Like, no, you will not get a game. And I want to say, like at the very least, it was 7 wins in a row. At the very least, I have the number 7 like just blinking in my head right now. So okay, he won at least 7 games in a row. So maybe the set was just 7 games, because I didn't win a game. Like I need this to be stressed. And it's just a casual set. And I'm playing characters like Hwoarang, who is mix-ups. You have to guess sometimes against Hwoarang. You have to guess. So statistically speaking, I should be able to win a game here or there, and I couldn't do it. It was from that moment on I said to myself, like, you should be playing Brian, maining him for the rest of the year, and he did pretty much play many Brian. Sometimes some Paul or Jin or Feng or but like mainly it was the Brian, especially when he's playing against the best players. We did see him using his Brian, and towards the end of the year, he really hit his stride using the Brian. But like, yeah, I can't even like look at it as like, oh, Brian's broken girl. Like, I do think the Brian matchup is slightly better than the Feng matchup for Hwoarang, but like, it's interesting. I don't want to get into that here, but Yeah, that had nothing to do with it. He was just absolutely cooking with the character. I couldn't wake up. Made it sound like a bad dream. But literally I couldn't get up because he was ready with a taunt set up every single time. The pressure was just ridiculous. You know, he was moving around me. It's like having someone in your head. And I'm glad I got to experience that before I played him in tournament, because if that happened in tournament, I would be completely discombobulated and I'd probably leave the venue afterwards. So again, I'm prepared for that experience if we do ever get to play in tournament. But in that situation, I feel like this is one I had to share, even though there's no tournament result to between me and him. I was just an insane casual set. Now for this one, like Joker, he's just so like, imagine like the worst Tekken player you've ever seen or you've ever played against, and like times that by like 10, like, and then add 20. That's how shit. That's how he's just so fucking bad. Like he's just awful. Genuine. Like imagine, like think like, oh, I can't even say like a green rank because that's just deep to green. Like he's just so bad. Genuine. He's fucking awful. And you might be sitting there thinking, oh, but Kaywas, you've lost to Joker in tournament. Yeah, but like, you know, like you ever play like your little cousin or something and like they're just doing weird shit and you don't understand it and they might get a game or two? That's basically what happens, bro. Like it's nah it's just so bad. Now, with full respect to everyone on this list so far and everyone on this list to come, genuinely, I think Atif might be the best Tekken player I've ever played. Like, obviously, there's a lot of players on this list, you know, Arslan, Knee, etc. I genuinely believe to myself he might be the best Tekken player I have ever played. And I don't say that because like I feel like I'm not trying to like do any self-glazing, because the times we are playing tournament, it's normally very close. It's like final round. It's like, look at me, I did great against the best. It's like, it's just like fundamentally speaking, just the feeling. Oh, it's that I'm trying not to glaze too hard, but it's like, so I'll put it this. So we played twice in tournament. Once at the Tekken World Tour Finals 2023. No, 2022. No, 2020. No, it's 2023 Tekken World Tour Finals. It was the second to last Tekken 7 Tekken World Tour Finals. He's in my group, and that went down to final round. He was playing the Akuma then. It was very, very, very close, and it came down to me just not guessing right on his down threes. Which if you played against Akuma in Tekken 7, you understand exactly what that meant. It's a full launch of an unseeable low. So that was kind of what it came down to then. And then we played again at the Bars Gauntlet last year. It was my first game. It was the first game of the Bars Gauntlet. It was a very hyped up match. Tekken World Tour rematch. These two play again. It was close. And again, it was close again when we played then. Went down to a final game. I can't remember if it was a final round, but definitely went down to a final game. And like there were some clutch decisions on both sides. He was the one who managed to close it out in the end. And it's like in the tournament sets, you know, he's just a very aggressive opponent. Like he's in your face all the time. He's forcing you to make snap decisions all the time. At every moment, you have to be ready to make a snap decision to deal with what he's going to do, because he stays in your face all the time. And then those moments of reprieve, at the range 2, just jostling. One small mistake, QCF1 with punishing, you're dead. You know, it's very, you just can't, you cannot overextend for a moment, because when you do, that's when he's looking for it. But those sets aren't really why I say I feel like he's the best. So before CEO, before the tournament even started, me, Joker, and Atif were all playing casual sets against each other. Mainly me and Joker just playing against Atif because we play all the time. We're not really going to warm up like that. And Joker played him first. Joker gets up and just said, I think Atif's going to win the tournament from the way he's playing. And I said, yeah, right, bro, whatever, man. I sat down and played him. I got up and said, I think Atif's going to win the tournament. I remember that casual set so clearly. It just exactly what I said there. I couldn't make a mistake. He stayed in my face. It really just I just didn't have the room to breathe to play or do anything that I wanted to do, but he could do everything. You know, it's like he's constantly in that flow state every single moment of the set. Give him a mistake, it's over for you. And like the criticism of Atif can always be like he's always playing the best character, using Akuma, Dragon, but at the end of the day, he's a competitive player. He's going to do what it takes to win. There's a lot on the line for him. Therefore, you pick the best character. He's the best player in the world. Picks the best characters. It makes sense. But anyway, you know, me and Joker both said it. He's going to win this tournament. He ended up winning that tournament. With all respect to everyone that I've played and everyone on this list, I truly believe like he is the best Tekken player. He's the best Tekken player I've ever played. I can say that confidently. He is the best I've ever played. John Ding is an interesting one, because he's not what you would really expect from the top level of Tekken. I feel like Tekken kind of has a reputation of being this guy's so fundamentally sound, his defensive, his patient, his movements on point, etc., etc. I don't think John Ding really embodies that, especially from the times I played against him. He is someone who thrives off momentum, and that is what really is what gets him through. And I felt like this the first time I ever played against him, and that was many years ago. It was like the second or third year of Tekken 7 at versus fighting the Masterman in Birmingham. I just played him in casuals in a quick first to three. He was playing like first threes against people. I sat down, can I play? He said, yeah, sure. We had a first to three. It was 3-1 to him. I was like, oh, I got a game against John Ding. Look at me go. Also very early in my Tekken journey. Look at me, I got a game against John Ding. Look at me go. But the overwhelming feeling I had from it is just like when he gets started, when momentum's in his favor, he is very hard to stop. But when your momentum's swinging and you're going good, he's very good at stopping that. And that is something I carry with me every time I have to play against him, whether we're playing casuals, whether we're playing tournament. That is the number one thing I think to myself, is just keep an eye on how he likes to build his momentum and how he likes to stop yours. And I think something he's just been well known for at this point is just the rage arts. And it's very weird because the most recent time we played was at that same pre-Evo tournament, the same one I mentioned when I played against JDCR the last time. That was the most recent time we played. And again, it really he won the set, and it just came down to the rage arts, really and truly. I'd have a huge life lead. I'm going in. I'm about to close it down. Wake up, rage art. And then from then he just starts snowballing from there. That's really how he gets going from there. And it's a very interesting feeling of playing against someone like John Ding, because obviously momentum is a ethereal thing of, you know, it's not really something you can measure, but against him it feels palpable. Like, it's like if you ever played like a Dynasty Warriors game, like, you know, the morale bar that goes up and down on one side, it's like you can almost see it and feel it when you play against John Ding. And I truly do believe he is someone that can be quite underrated when they talk about, you know, the best Tekken players, because he has an absolutely amazing resume and should maybe be in those conversations a bit more. Ao is someone to be quite interesting on this list because I've only ever played him twice, and both of those times were in tournaments. Like most of the other people on the list I've had casual sets against, or more than one tournament, so like 3 tournament experiences against. It was just the 2 times in tournament, and they were both tournament losses, and they were both last year during the first year of Tekken 8. It was the first time I ever played against Ao. And why is, I think it's interesting, and I have to mention him because so we have those two tournament experiences, and they were both losses. And that is quite interesting for me because typically I don't lose rematches. I like to pride myself on this. I don't lose rematches. I like to think the second time I go into that set, I'm ready to go. I've done my homework, especially with there being like a month or 2 apart from the time we played. The first time we played was at CEO. The second time was at the Esports World Cup LCQ. And I like to pride myself on the fact is when we get into that second set, I've done enough work. I should be ready to go. And I should be able to do what I need to do to win the set, especially considering our first set at CEO, in my mind, really came down to just mistakes that I made. I had some missing inputs. I overextended where I knew that I shouldn't. And, you know, when I watched it back, that was the overwhelming feeling I had. And when I was playing in that set, that was how I felt. I sort of gave away some things that really led to the win. But like, you know, I should be ready to go. I should be okay doing this. But the second set, to me, was Ao showing perfect Tekken. Is the best way I can describe it. He was just so good at moving and punishing. I think that was just it. Just moving and punishing. You know, I would be put in a situation, I'd be plus, I'd be like, okay, they can plus frames. He sidestepped me and he's launched. I think every time he played, it was a sidestep and it was a launch. It wasn't a knockdown. It wasn't just a little 10-frame punish. It was a launch every time he was playing Victor. It was always a down forward 2 every time. And then just some very good reads. I think that's one thing that I feel a lot when I play against Japanese players, just their reads. They know when to turn the aggression, and they know what defensive reads to make to turn around a set. And yeah, when I watched that set back, the second set, I just said to myself, you know, I just lost. You know, I just lost. I remember that feeling, just like, you know what, man, I just lost. You know, it's like there wasn't much I could really say other than that. You know, really and truly, like, he just played so well. I think he's someone who can really turn on just that perfect Tekken is the best way to describe it. You do something -13, you're gonna get a 13 frame punish. -14, you're gonna get a 14 frame punish. You whiff anything, you're gonna get launched. It was just he's a purveyor of perfect Tekken. Is really the best way to play it. And when he needs to play the small Tekken and poke, get in, get out, he can do that so well. I really struggle to think of many people that can do it as good as he can, and then just switch at a moment's notice to now be aggressive and down your throat. Pause. Jod. I think Jodorino. I think this will be the last name on this. I don't know how long this video is going to be, and I don't want it to get too long. And I had to cut off some names as well because I just don't know how long this video is getting, and I wanted to, like, let's end it here on a nice friendly European names. I didn't mention many European players in this. Actually, the one I did was that shit guy Joker. So let's talk about Jod. Now, I feel like he's someone who I have to mention because he has handed me probably my worst ever loss in a Tekken tournament in recent memory. Ivory Coast Tekken World Tour Master Event winners final, first to 3. I lost 3 games. I must have got like 2 or 3 rounds the entire set. It was bad. It was gross. It was disgusting. And it really just like thinking about it now. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it, but I have to because it's content for you guys. But he's someone who I feel like the mental game used to be a very big part of how to approach him. You know, I feel like he's someone who you could sort of tilt pretty easily. I think especially I'm playing like a character like Quarring, a character that can get under his skin and get really annoying. That's sort of my goal when I played against Jod. I think when we played that set in Ivory Coast, that was my thinking then, and it was the wrong way to think. I feel like that's something he's really shored up about himself, is just silencing that mental game, turning off the part of his brain that tilts. And when we played then, he's just someone who, again, mentioned Arslan Ash is one of the, he's one of the greatest in the world, one of the best players I've ever played. But like Jod is just simply the best Nina player I've ever played. You know, I just think the way he uses that character, his options, like his character specific options to deal with your character, are always going to be there every single time, and it makes it really hard to play on that same level as him, to sort of match him if you've not done the same work that he has. And I do remember the last time I played was at EGX Arena. It was the winners semi-final. That one came down to a final round that I should have won, but I wasted my heat. I kept him in the game, and I think it just took like one sidestep into a wall splat, and then the momentum of Tekken 8 just started going. You guys know how that goes. And he ended up, clutching it out from there. He's just someone who is really hard to put away. I think that's one of the number one things to sort of mention about Jod. Is very, very, very difficult to put away, because he's someone who, like Nina, a character in this game, especially Tekken 8, who just needs that one launch into heat burst, get big damage and take you from there. And it's easier said than done, but he is someone who's always ready with that decision that is going to get him that launch. He's going to do higher shooter step, evade your move, then he's going to launch you. He's going to sidestep you with something, sidestep 2, he's going to launch you. It's like you have to be very, very, very careful trying to put him away. And I think that's just the overwhelming feeling I have playing against someone like Jod. Is like, it is not over until it is literally over. Like, the fat lady has not started singing. What are you standing up for? He's still in the game. He's always in the game. And it's the best way to describe playing against someone like Jod. He's always in the game. Same way I feel watching him play. It's genuinely never over. And again, Nina's strong, blah, blah, whatever. But like, also you have to give credit to the man. It is never over until it's over when you play someone like Jod. I think it's going to be all from me on this video. Thank you guys for taking time to sit there and watch me yap. Please like if you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if there's anyone else you want to hear me yap about. Or any other topic you want me to yap about when it comes to Tekken 8. I'm trying some new things when it comes to the content this year. 2025 is going to be the year I become 2020 alive. I don't know what that means. But as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.